I still have an inventory that I did of all the electronics that were in the closet. And I did a specific inventory in a specific way of what I understood would have been cataloging in preparation for a potential decommissioning in order for them to be taken to the appropriate place. There is a place in Dallas that is very, very easy to get to in a car. I can get there on my bike. If I needed to, I could even walk. But for the amount of electronics that there were, there needed to be a car or a vehicle they were loaded into. And then they needed to be taken to that specific place. That is a place where you can donate used electronics, and they do a teardown. And they make it into, they salvage what they can for people who are inclined and are capable of reconstructing computers or creating new electronics after composition or reconstitution of old electronics. And then whatever's hazardous, they already have an appropriate facility and appropriate means to dispose of what remains of the actual hazardous waste. I went to this place myself in person. I was on site. I talked to somebody who worked there. I checked it out, see what they did. When I was in Chicago, I did a possibility of what I was hoping to do, which was involved in decomming, deconstruction of teardowns of old electronics up to and including computers, so that they could be broken into usable components or things that could be recycled, and then whatever was left over could be appropriately disposed of, while what remained could be used in the community. The community could be taught. People who knew how to do this would teach you how to make your own computer. That was the hope. That you would work, you would volunteer, you would do some teardowns, do it in a safe situation. You'd be able to get what was usable or recyclable either through that particular process or maybe some other process of recyclables, and you would know what was disposable and what was considered toxic, so it needed a particular kind of disposal. This is the basic level of responsibility we should be taking in every single city, perhaps even on a neighborhood by neighborhood basis when it comes to disposal of electronic waste. And so I had went through that process. I had started and hoped to continue in that process in Chicago before I came to Texas. And when I came to Texas, I already knew enough to know that's what you do. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So when I had all of these electronics, I inventoried them. And I put them in this, I did it in a very specific strat. I gave him a list. I have the inventory. And I said, you need to take it to this location. Take it to this location, get the receipt, bring it back to me. What did he do? He gave me a piece of shit paper where he just dropped it off at a fucking trailer down the street. Now, he insisted that he needed his daughter to be the one to do the transport. Well, I mean, my daughter did. She didn't want to do that. You shouldn't have let your daughter inaccurately and illicitly dispose of electronic waste after I'd given you a damn specific instruction about how to do it correctly. It was a terrorist attack. It was a terrorist attack, and he tried to blame it on his daughter, who I've never been allowed to meet. I got a sink full of chemicals in here, including chemicals he set up as part of some little game. He's constantly dumping bullshit chemicals down the fucking toilet for no good fucking reason. I think it has to do with whatever they're doing with HUD. He acts like he doesn't know. His shit is too fucking strategic, and he expects to be acknowledged, and I'm supposed to be grateful for access to somebody who has the kind of human capital that he alleged when we first met he had, and that he wants his daughter and whoever is associated with his daughter to be able to get credited for. Well, I'm not allowed to meet anybody else, and I got a sink full of chemicals I cannot appropriately and legally dispose of, despite the fact I know where the facility is. If I had a job, I could rent my own vehicle, I could transport them. But I'm not allowed to be on a lease. I'm not allowed to be on a utility. I'm not allowed to have money to buy my own fucking food. And I'm supposed to be dealing with the chemical disposal? I can't legally appropriately dispose of even household chemicals, and they know it. You want me to go work in a fucking organic fucking food store so you can get what? Credit for chemical weapons disposal before the 3-year deadline expires on Sunday? No. I have a fucking sink full of goddamn actual chemicals that need to be appropriately disposed of. Last time I trusted him with disposing of electronic waste, there was a terrorist attack in another fucking country, as well as an alleged hack of the fucking Fort Worth ISD. I am not trusting him with disposal of chemicals, and not him or his daughter or anybody in his fucking network is going to get credit for it either. You need to stop your little swap out. All it does is accrue and accumulate and implicate every motherfucker you don't let me fucking meet because you let him be the portal. You're not allowed to do it. I am not going to be able to do it. He refused. I told him 2 weeks ago. Help me. Well, we can sign you. Well, let's wait on the phone. I'm not allowed on the lease. I'm not allowed to meet anybody. Nobody lets me have my own fucking income. There's somebody I'm supposed to be paying something. But the problem is, that is in somebody else's name that I'm supposed to be paying so somebody else gets the credit while I am completely dispossessed of a legitimate means to do things I already know how to fucking do. There is a legal facility in the city of Dallas one can take household chemicals and even some kinds of industrial chemicals to in order to appropriately dispose of them and legally dispose of them. You wanted to dump a bunch of fucking chemicals and e-waste on me. I told you how to fucking do it with what you wanted to get credit for. They intentionally refused to do it correctly. I am not going to give anybody in his fucking network credit for appropriate disposal of chemical fucking weapons that are required for the United States to do. These expectations were set up and agreed to as part of our commitment to the Treaty on the Prevention of Chemical Weapons, dated for February 4th of 2018. I'm sorry. I am sorry that was the agreement. But that was also the agreement you allowed to be set up during the Bush era when you paired healthcare and emergency response in Iraq, which would also include access to food, right? With securing the Iraqi oil fields in connection with military assistance and national defense. You made those your fucking Valentine, Texas, and you tried to pin it on girls and boys that were not even of fucking age, that were not even engaged, had not even reached puberty in other states. Now you want to expand and multiply that model without doing what you already fucking know you need to do to get credit. And when you don't get credit for doing it right, you know what it is? It's fucking terrorism. The whole fucking thing has been terrorism. I cannot go to that job now, especially knowing you let that piece of shit, and whoever the fuck, he is racketing in there. If the Attorney General agreed to use that room as a proxy, he needs to be arrested right now for terrorism. If the governor agreed to back up the Attorney General in doing that, he needs to be arrested right now for terrorism. If anybody in the legislature, if any judge, including the local municipal judges involved in some sort of pseudo-shadow process because they have a special rule just for Dallas around pinning chemical weapons dumps on women that fit specific racial demographic profiles, they all need to be arrested for terrorism. If you arrest them today, or you arrest them tomorrow, you'll meet that fucking benchmark around safety in prevention of chemical weapons because you would have begun the process of securing an appropriate disposal of chemical weapons. But if Sunday comes and you're still playing your little jackass, let's feed the bitch some fucking hamburgers, or let's feed the bitch some fucking sweet rolls and pretend like that's gonna be our fucking subsidy for refusing to engage in appropriate procedures around disposal of chemicals and chemical weapon components, I'm not gonna fucking help you. It's fucking terrorism. You had no fucking right to, again, follow my ass to any other fucking possibility I have in my life to try to get who in his fucking network is actually literally trafficking chemical weapons for goddamn acts of fucking terrorism in other fucking countries that you literally let them fucking kidnap me, cut me off from everybody, and sabotage every fucking possibility because you know goddamn fucking well you are not gonna let me apply for and get a job in the state of Texas until I agree to cover up for their fucking crimes. They're terrorists, and they've run out of time. The deadline is on Sunday, Valentine's Day, assholes. You wanted to create this disgusting chemical warfare fucking Valentine's Day when I was a little fucking girl. I could have fucking completed a goddamn whole bunch of fucking legitimate processes that would have been internationally and domestically responsible for this kind of love. Why the fuck did you decide you were gonna keep sabotaging it? There's no way to do it now. There's no way you're gonna get a utility in my fucking name and get me income in my name so I can rent a car or rent an appropriate vehicle to transport this and get it registered as being appropriately logged for disposal before close of business on Sunday. And if I do it Monday, premeditated murder, and I'm not fucking doing it.